What's up, everybody? Green Line Breakdown, episode 11. Got my Patriots gear on today. AFC Championship. Something to look forward to. One of the things I've been saying to myself all season is I haven't been as committed or been able to be as committed to the Celtics as I have in years past because the football team is doing too good. They're getting too far into the season where I'm just not able to really focus in on the media that I usually get to experience about Celtics basketball. What happens is when the football team sucks, immediately like the local TV and local sports stations will start talking about Bruins and Celtics early, and it hasn't been the case. Football's still going strong, and it's about 99% of what people are talking about. So I provide the coverage for you. Everything I say is generally 100% truth, mostly my opinion, but I try to be as accurate as possible. And thank you for tuning in and letting me be your source for the C's this season. I have no episode last week, episode 11. We're just over the halfway mark of the season. I think we're at 45 games. Season is 82 games, so halfway about last week. Where are we? Where are we as a team? Where's the league? I talked a little bit about the standings. We had gotten in a comfortable cushion in the third spot, behind Detroit and behind the Knicks. We had dropped a couple of easy games, and New York was like 4 games ahead of us. And then New York shit themselves. New York just right down the hill, buried. I don't know what happened. I don't want to judge them too harshly because we haven't had some pretty games over the last 2 weeks. But New York is a better team talent-wise than we are for sure. And I believe their coach made a statement on that saying the talent isn't really buying into the team aspect. There's too much individualism, which that's never good. To go far, to win a championship, you need a cohesive team. So when it starts to become individual processes and that being the primary for these guys, they walk out and say, what are my stats going to be like? Well, how am I going to look? Especially in the New York market. It's hard to win a championship, very hard. And they're more harsher, their media, than the Boston scene is. So thank you, New York, for allowing us to get into the second ring in the seed. We are very thankful for you guys blowing it year in and year out. Thank you very much. But like I said, we haven't had too many good games over the past 2 weeks. So quick rundown for you guys, how we did. I don't want to go too deep into it because there's a couple things I'd like to talk about today. But special episode, snowstorm episode right now. It is shelling 24 inches of snow last time I heard. And it looks white out there. It looks white. So can't find Derek White. He's been missing, but it is white out there. So going back to 2 weeks, how have we looked? Who have we faced? I believe I left you off with the close game against the Spurs, which I was announcing my disappointment and saying these next few games forward here, we need to get a couple under our belt, really cement the seed that we were in at the time, which was third. You get the Pacers on Monday, and you lose to the Pacers by 2 points. That game, Pascal Siakam, really, he was the only guy on the court, it felt like, and he was taking care of business. He was doing what he had to do. He was doing what Jaylen Brown has been doing for most of the season for us. He took the reins. He committed to winning the game, and he got it done. And I like Siakam, good player. I like his position. I like how he plays it. You kind of wish Jaylen Brown it had a little more of a fight in him, but this is not to say Jaylen Brown wasn't the best guy on the court. He tends to be. That's how it is. We lost a close matchup to the Pacers. Not good because the Pacers are the bottom of the league right now with no Tyrese Halliburton. Miles Turner, trash. Siakam's kind of the only guy out there. I mean, they got Nembhard. I like Nembhard, but it's really just Siakam's the one guy you really got to worry about, and you didn't worry about him enough, and they got the win on you. Not good. Can't be playing like that. You got the Heat in front of you after that game. Heat is a team which they are like right behind you. I think at the time they were the 5 seed, maybe 6 seed, 6, 7. The Heat are a ring below you though. That is a game you have to win. That is a game you did win, 119 to 114 on Thursday, and you got it done. Then comes the Atlanta game on the weekend. which is the one game I want to take a little deeper dive into, because this was the Sam Hauser game. You had Sam Hauser play 30 minutes, get 30 points. None of them were 2 points. They were all 3-point shots. He made 10 3-points, along with 6 rebounds and 3 assists and a steal. Not to say he was the best guy. Jaylen Brown had 41 points. So Jaylen Brown did a lot of the work. We won this game 132-106. It was a shellacking of Atlanta. They lost Trae Young. They're kind of in a weird spot with these guys. I don't really love the team they have. I don't like the configuration. But why I point this out is Sam Hauser having 30 points is at the best time. My biggest complaint with Sam Hauser is he has no consistency. He'll have these games, and not to say he beats up on bad teams, because I've seen him play well against good teams. He's had good games against Denver. He's had good games against the Lakers. It's unknown when he's going to show up. It could be 5-6 games without him being any effort for a win or a loss. And then all of a sudden he'll show up. He's like the 7th, 8th best guy on the team. You can't be showing up 1 out of every 8 games. You're there for 10% of the season. That's not going to fly. We can't be, that cannot be what we get out of you. You need to be 1 out of 2 every 2 games. I would take 1 out of every 3 probably. To see you only show up every 8 games is why I think you are a good trade piece at the moment. I hope somebody takes you away. I like you, Sam. It's just the consistency for a guy in your position when you're the 7th, 8th guy on the bench. You're, a 3-point dog. Fair enough. Defense isn't stellar. I hope somebody takes you from us. You did great for us. We got a ring under you. But, man, I cannot watch you only show up every 8 games. Jaylen Brown, 41 points. Nothing more to say. When you have 41 points, Hauser coming with 30, Kid has 14. That's great. Really is. And you see a drop off with just the rest of the crew. I mean, Walsh, no points. Garza, 4. Tillman, 0. Derek White, 7 points. Simon's at 14, which I like to see, because he needs to put in more as the deadline approaches. He's going to be the number 1 tag for whatever trade we want to make. I think if you think about it critically, he's the easy choice. I like him as a player, but when you have a 1-year contract, he's going to have freedom to go wherever. We're not going to pay him what he wants just based on the restrictions with the apron. There's no way we pay him what he wants unless he takes a pay cut. He's going to get traded. I like the guy. He's a good player. He's just an easy piece to get rid of. And Hauser, I think, is going to be included in that, or maybe a younger forward like Walsh, maybe the rookie Gonzalez. It depends on who we look at for a center and who we, depending on their talent. Like if they're a high skilled center, high name, I should say, big name, you're going to need a lot of guys, a couple of draft picks to get that. And it kind of sounds, from the reports, it sounds like we're going to make a big swing, right? Zubac's one of the names. I've heard others. I see Nick Claxton might be going to LA. I like Claxton. If he's available and we have enough, I would like to go get him. But I'm hearing it's a DeAndre Ayton for Claxton swap, which we don't have that. We're not giving up a center. So Brooklyn's looking for a center back. I don't know why they would get rid of Claxton. I mean, in the end, I think they're going to get a lot back and they need to retool. But that, if we can get him, see what we can get out of him. He's young-ish. I like to see what he can do for us. I like Zubac. If we can get Zubac for not too much. I still say Sabonis, but his name just hasn't popped up, so I don't think he's going to be part of that equation. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Deadline's coming up 2 weeks, I believe. We're going to know, and we're going to take a big swing. I'm confident Stevens is in a position where he wants to do that. He feels confident enough that probably Tatum is coming back in March and April, and he doesn't need to be a number 1. Jaylen Brown, let him do what he needs to do. Tatum's a support. I think with Tatum coming back, Derek White's going to open up a little bit. Something about Derek White is off this season. His consistency has not been there at all. It's concerning. And I think a lot of it is him and Tatum got really meshed with each other well. Their play styles, they're obviously best friends. Him and White are always goofing off with each other. So my hope is to see Tatum come back. Derek White takes another step. because the consistency has not been there with Derek White. And it kind of sucks because if he was, I think we would be number one in the league right now. Maybe not number one in the league, but number one in the East for sure. And Derek just has not been playing to his standard. Pritchard, another guy, he's done a lot this season. A guy I don't think needs to be a third when everybody's healthy, obviously. And I don't think he can really fit that. There are games he does. There are stretches he does, but he always goes low. I say this as I don't want my third best player on the team to always be a point getter, consistent assist. I don't need that. What I need the third guy on the team to do is always be involved. And Pritchard's defense seems to be a liability at times, and I don't love that. That's why I loved Al Horford, right? When Al Horford was on the court, he was going to make some plays. He was going to get you some points, and he was going to be a stalwart on D. And he was probably the fourth best guy on the court at the time, third or fourth, but consistent. Every time he stepped on the court, he was like that. I don't need you to be generational until all of a sudden get 20 points or whatever assist or whatever rebounds. I just need to know that you're going to do something. That's where I want my third best guy on the team to be. Do something. Always. It is a tall task. It is not an easy thing to be. It is not an easy thing to do. You just need to always be doing something. Pritchard isn't always. He's shorter than most guys in the league. So I understand why defense might be a liability for him. But he really isn't the third best. He was the sixth man last year. Well-deserved sixth man of the year. To move him up 3 spots is kind of a tough ask. Even if he is good, even if he is going to deliver what, you're expecting. I don't think he really has, but yeah, that's my hope. To circle back on how we did, right? So that was the first week. We missed on the episode last week. So how did we do the subsequent week, right? A couple more easy games, I think. One hard one, I should say. We playing the Pistons on Monday. Detroit's the number one team in the East. Great team all around. We've had that conversation. Took them to the wire. We took them to the wire. And we had a shot at the end of the game to win it. Shot didn't go in. Final score is 104-103. This is a game I look at, and I hate the word moral or the phrase moral victory, right? Is there really any care in moral victories? Like, cool, we didn't win, but we did this well. I don't like to say that often. This is a game I look at where we've had some bad games beforehand. It would have been nice to get this one, but I saw a lot of good things. What I saw was if we play Detroit, this is not an easy win for Detroit in the playoffs, right? We can go toe-to-toe with Detroit. I still have some fears about New York, but the number one team in the East, we can go toe-to-toe with. Everybody before us, we can go toe-to-toe with. After us in the rankings. It's just a good thing to see, especially halfway through the season, that, it's like even the way we're constructed without a center, without Tatum coming back, we can be competitive. We're really, really an annoying team to play against, I think. And that's kind of what I saw, is we can always chip in and stay. But I have a problem with us playing up to competition and not playing below competition. If a team sucks, we play down to them. I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think that's what we should be handling teams, right? And then we should play up to the teams that are talent-wise better than us, which I think Detroit is as well, which is why they're the number one. They're just a very good team all around. 1 through 8, they are a good team. Obviously they have all-stars. Obviously they have top 10 players in the league, top 20 players in the league, couple. Cunningham is a great player, but they are just a good team down the roster. Robinson, great player. Isaiah Stewart, great player. It's good to see you can compete with those guys. I didn't love the construction of the final go-around, the last minute and a half. You work through those things, you get past them, and you get into the playoffs. And that's kind of where we are. You got 40 games left, a little less. Do what you got to do, stay in your position, and see where the cards fall. So that was Monday. You get the Pacers on Wednesday. This time around, you handle the Pacers. I don't think it was really ever competitive. They stayed in it, 119-104. But you got it done. You got it done, and that's what's important, which brings us to Brooklyn on Friday. In Brooklyn, going to double overtime. Playing against the Nets, going into double overtime is a moral loss. You won the game, but it didn't look pretty. The first overtime, you had them. You had like 5 points on them, which in an overtime with like 2 minutes left, it doesn't sound like a lot, but I feel like when you have like some space in overtime, it's always better. And you lost that, and you just kind of played sloppy throughout, and even into the double overtime. You got it done, but it just looked gross. Wasn't fun to watch. I was in the bar looking at the TV. Everybody was cheering you on, and kind of had to grind that one out. It's good that you did grind it out, but it's still the Nets. It's still the bottom of the league. That is concerning. A team that wants to blow up. You're letting them play with you. And then we get to yesterday. Chicago Bulls, a know-nothing team, a team that really has no considerable identity. 114 to 111. Let's look at some of the player stats there. Jaylen Brown, 33 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Hauser, 8 points. Derek White, 15. Pritchard, 10. And Simons, 21. Simons going up that hill. Up, trade. Get up to the top of the hill, trade his ass. Good player, love the guy. He's doing so well. His value's going up. Get rid of him. Get rid of him while he got this. Because I don't think it's going to stay forever. And if it does, good for him. Again, when you have a contract that is 1 year, and you know we don't have any money, and you know we cannot pay you what you want at the end of the season, you as a player should, expect to be traded. Unless we don't make any moves. Don't just dump them for nothing and a nobody. But you just got to expect that. I don't know. It's hard to watch. But good to see you're at 21 points. Against the Bulls, 33 points, Jaylen Brown. These are very low point totals. I mean, Simons at 21, great. Derek White at 15 is so concerning. Richard at 10 against the Bulls. That's a team that generally lets most people score on them. To see Jaylen is the only one Jaylen and Simons. There should be a third player over 15 points, over 20 probably. The fact that there's only 2 is a hint of concern. The minutes are actually pretty spaced out, which could be the issue, right? So Jaylen obviously in for most of the game, but Hauser at 24. The minute I said this, and now I'm regretting it. Derek White, 39 minutes. You're in for almost the entire game. 15 points. 3 of them are 3-pointers. You got 7 rebounds. You got 7 assists. So I'm not saying you did nothing. Feel like you could have took more shots in this game. You had some openings. Part of what I've seen is he's not really getting the space I wish he would. Is the confidence going back a little bit? I'm not too much of an analyzer to say it is or it isn't, or body language. I'm not very good with that stuff. So I can't confidently give you guys an answer, but something to watch from here on the rest of the season is, can he kind of get back to a level where that guy is a monster? I've seen maybe 2 games all year out of 45 where he stepped up and just lights out. Last 2 years, it was 30 games a year, 40 games a year, half the season. I don't want to see 10 games a year where you're like that, Derek, especially when you have more opportunity. Makes no sense. The reality is you're a second, third tier guy. So when you have to have more of a exposure, you're not as good, which makes sense, but kind of disappointing to see. We pushed you for All-Star for all those years, and you kind of had a chance to do All-Star this year. Kind of, not really, but you're not getting that nod. So there is that. But one thing to look at, All-Stars. All-Star weekend is coming up. Coincides right around with the NBA trade deadline. We have one All-Star, Jaylen Brown. Well-deserved. Conversation for MVP. One All-Star. He is a starter. I don't know if the reserves have been announced yet. I don't see any Celtics player getting a reserve spot, honestly. I don't think anybody's really played up to that. There's a lot of good players. So the only thing I really wanted to discuss was the All-Star starting lineups. It is this year, the All-Star game, NBA All-Star game has been crap for most part. Everybody likes the skills challenge. That's about it. Nobody watches the game. The players don't play the game. They don't like playing the game. So they've come up with a more competitive setup, I would think. So they're switching it to world versus US players. I feel like they're going to run into an issue with the reserves. They did get 5 and 5 for the starters, but I don't know where the confidence is for the remaining reserves. I don't think there's that many international players that are going to get in, or it might be more one way or the other, but it's not going to line up evenly for sure. So, excuse me. But man, when you look at the international starters versus the U.S. starters, it's gonna be a tough matchup for the USA. Right around when the Olympics are starting too, kind of an embarrassment of these lineups. And I like all these players. I mean, most of the U.S. is coming from the Eastern Conference, which I think is funny, and most of the international are in the West. It's 1-to-1 swap for USA International. So let's start with Team USA. Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Maxey, Steph Curry. Now, if you listen to what I just said, all of those guys are guards. Technically, I guess Brown's a shooting guard. Brown is the tallest player on that team in their starting five. And you're like, well, those are still great players. Well, sure, but this is the West lineup. Giannis, Luka, Shai, I always get that screwed up, Jokic, and Wembanyama. If you look at the MVP standings, Jaylen Brown is the best one out of that U.S. group, which is crazy, which is insane. Curry is still an all-star starter, and honestly, I think that is wrong. He's older, he's not as good. There are other guys that should have got over him. I digress. I mean, the averages are still up there. 27 points, 5 assists, 3.7 rebounds. So he's still got something, but I mean, man, Wemby, Jokic. Jokic is your power forward. Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka is your shooting guard. Or actually, he's your point guard. Yeah, because Gilgeous is your shooting guard. I don't know. They're going to... No. He's the point guard, right? And Luka is the shooting guard. Yeah. I don't know basketball. I don't know if you've seen me do these 10 episodes, but I don't know basketball enough. That is disgusting. I mean, Team USA is going to get obliterated. The problem they were trying to solve was, how do we make this more competitive? And the idea was there, but they somehow made it worse. It's somehow going to be less competitive. I'm going to watch. I think more people are going to be watched because this is almost hysterical how lopsided it is. Unless the reserves are just like, I don't know, the USA reserves kind of could seemingly take over the international, but I'm going to read the West one more time. Or sorry, the international team. Wemby at center, Jokic at your 4, and between Luka, Gilgeous, and Giannis. No, sorry. Giannis is your 3. Giannis is the 3, and he loves the 3. He loves being the 3. Oh my God. Is USA losing, not just this game, but are we losing our grasp on the National Basketball Association? Has international officially taken over? That is something we would have to look at. We got to keep up with that in the next 2 years. But I mean, man, if only Tatum was here. Some height. We need some height. It is crazy. The shortest guy on the international team is the same height as the tallest guy on the USA team, Jaylen Brown. And you know what? Even if we did this east to west, it's still bad. At least you get Giannis, Jaylen Brown, Brunson, Cunningham, Maxey. The West is still Wembanyama, Jokic, Gilgeous, Luka, and Curry. Man, the East sucks. What is going on? That is crazy. That is lopsided as hell, in my humble opinion. It is insane that they got to that. I don't know. I think the All-Star games are still going to suck. I like the skills challenge. I like how it's the night before. It ends up being a Saturday or a Friday, I forget. But I think it's Saturday night is a skill challenge. Everybody has fun with that. The players have fun with that. It's a good experience. It's fun to watch. The dunk contest, even though the dunk contest sucks, you still tune into it. It's still something watchable. And then the game's terrible the next day, and it's in the afternoon. And it's like, why am I watching this? And I don't know. The NBA has a lot to work on. It's hard. I think the All-Star game in general is across the board not a watchable product in any of the leagues. NFL is trying something new, pushing the Pro Bowl after the Super Bowl this year. The NBA All-Star game is, as I've explained, not a great product. I would say hockey is actually a decent All-Star game because it's a watchable game. Like they do play. I don't know how they're doing it this year. I'm not too versed, but last year it was like the USA, Switzerland, wherever those teams were. It was like the countries. This year they're doing the Olympics. There might be no All-Star game actually, but the year before that it was like teams of 4. which I think is what the NBA should go to. It's not just like a 5-on-5. It should be like 4 slots of maybe 3 players, maybe like a blacktop pickup game. I think that would be more enticing to these players. I don't know. You got to have the players buy in, and in the NBA, it's like the least bought in ever. Like the players never care about the league decisions. They don't care about the product. I mean, they sit out all the time. They just want to get paid, and I'm not going to sit here and say, what the hell, man? But it's kind of the case. They never really care about their decisions. So All-Star game, kind of a disappointment every year. I hope this works out, but international seems like they're just going to take care of these guys. I think it's in LA, so I'm curious to see what the league does there. Maybe LeBron announces he's done finally. Please, God, please be done, but he probably won't be. There's that. So All-Star game, congratulations, Jaylen Brown, well-deserved. Should be an MVP conversation. Like I said, I don't think reserves haven't been announced, and I don't think any other Celtics are getting in. It would be cool to see, but nobody's really played like that. It kind of is Brown's team. That's what it seems like. So that's where we are. So what do we have? What's coming up, right? Tomorrow, Monday, Trailblazers. Good team. Rob Williams might be the first time Rob Williams plays in the Garden since he left. He's always injured. He stayed healthy. Blazers are a good team. Do not sleep on the Blazers. They have some good parts. Then you got, lost my footing here. Then you got the Hawks again on Wednesday. Beat the brakes off them like you did the first time. Get some shots up. Then you get Sacramento on Friday. Kings are the worst team in the league. Beat the brakes off. Then on next Sunday, you got the Bucks. Right. So Bucks, kind of an easier week, honestly, because Bucks aren't doing much. Giannis is always there to play. But Sacramento, Atlanta, and even the Trailblazers, you got to take care of those teams. You have to take care of those teams, especially the way the standings are. You are a game ahead of the Knicks. The Knicks, I think, were 5 games ahead of you when I last checked, maybe 4. And man, they took a stumble. And I'll talk about them a little bit at the end of this episode here. Going back to when they beat, I want to say it was the Spurs game. Yes, so they beat the Pelicans December 29th. And on New Year's Eve, they played the Spurs. Not saying that's an easy win. We lost to them. They lost to them. But I think that game set them in a bad spot for the new year. You have a loss to the Hawks, who are in an abysmal place, on January 2nd. A loss to the Sixers. 2 losses in a row. A loss to the Pistons by 30 points. And I think this was the game they got booed by their crowd, and they asked Karl Anthony Towns about it. And he gave a good answer. He said, the product's not there. I would boo too. And that's how you should react. Then you beat the Clippers. Good that you got to win, but they are a bad team. And then the Suns beat you. And then you get a win against the Blazers. And then the Kings beat you. And then the Warriors beat you. And then the Suns beat you. And then the Mavericks beat you. And then you beat the Nets by 60 points. And that might have ended it for them. But they went, out of 9 games, they had 6 losses, which is tough. And there were some bad losses too. Like I said, these are teams, some of them are like decent teams. Detroit, Spurs, some of them were not. Atlanta, you shouldn't be losing to, especially when the seeding. This is why I say when we played Miami and these teams, you have to get those wins because the seeding is going to get real close all of a sudden. We're a game above New York in a spot where I thought New York handled them for the season. What I mean by that is I really didn't think we were even going to get another shot at lapping them, getting over them, getting into the 2nd seed. But here we are. And it is really kind of amazing to see that we are now a 2nd seed in the East, admittedly a bad East compared to what the West is, but we don't play Western teams in the playoffs until that last round. So go out and beat the teams in the East. And do what you have to do and be the best in the East. And whatever, if we lose, it was a rebuilding year. In the finals, I don't care. It'd be cool to see even, I still don't think we're going to hit that ring, but we need to get to the Eastern Conference with the way things are set up. I think if we go and get the center as the deadline comes, Tatum gets back healthy, the path is there for us. And we need to ride it. It's right ahead of us. We keep marching forward, and that's really all I'm concerned about. But that's it for me. That's today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you guys next week.